Our story today is from John Massey, who I contacted in Facebook. Let us begin. Here is my first of many paranormal experiences, ranging from hearing voices all the way up to seeing a full-body apparition. This event happened on my grandparents' farm. My grandparents fled Hungary in 1942 before the Nazis invaded Hungary. They moved to Cookstown, Ontario, Canada, about an hour north of Toronto. They would spend the next 50 years on that farm. They are buried not far from there on a hill that overlooks the farm. You don't spend 50 years somewhere unless you love it there, and I truly believe that they are still there together. This event happened about 1981, and I would have been 11 years old. My younger cousin Cathy was also visiting and staying the night. We were in an upstairs bedroom of the farmhouse that was located right in the center of a 100-acre working farm. Just beside the house to the east was what I call the old tractor road. I have heard this type of road referred to as two-rut road. My upstairs bedroom window overlooked this old farming road, which was probably in use even before the old farmhouse was built. Right next to the house was a stack of wood pile and then 4-foot wide grass walkway. On the other side was our grandmother's 15-foot wide garden that ran parallel to the old road. So even in the dark, we could easily see the road since it was so close to the house. On the opposite side of the road was a huge 35-acre cornfield that at the time easily stood 5 to 6 feet tall. It was a warm summer evening and we were supposed to be sleeping by this time, but we were talking about music and our favorite bands. Being Canadian, she naturally linked the band rush. My cousin and I began to hear a distant conversation between at least two people that was definitely coming from outside. We could also faintly hear footsteps on the two-rut dirt road. As the conversation got closer, the footsteps also became louder. We slowly kneeled down at the open window and listened. It was probably around 11 o'clock or so and our eyes were already well adjusted to the darkness, and we would easily be able to see what was happening just below the window. The conversation and footsteps gradually became louder, and we knew for sure we would soon see who was trespassing on our land. Maybe our grandmother would also hear this and appear with grandfather's shotgun as she had done many times before when she thought there was a threat to the property. Grandma was no joke and once grabbed a huge knife and told me to go get the front end loader. When I returned, she had already gutted the calf and had it ready to hang from the loader. Well, Grandma did not show up to save the night this time. The conversation and footsteps gradually became louder and louder. Then, without my cousin or I seeing a thing, they slowly became quieter and eventually stopped. There was no possibility of this walking conversation taking place in the cornfield because we did not hear the familiar and unmistakable sound of at least two people making their way through the tall cornfield. I should also add that we did not see a flashlight or lantern. We only heard the conversation and footsteps. I do not recall what the conversation was about, and I am unsure if the conversation was understandable at all. We never saw anything or anyone. This probably happened over the course of maybe 2 minutes or so. But I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours thinking back to this warm country night and what we were able to hear but not see. I cannot explain this event and can only describe it as my first of many paranormal experiences.